Kanban is a Japanese term. It comes from card system. Another lesson from studying Lean and the kind of the Toyota way. Basically, what Kanban is, it's a way to kind of see the whole system and understand the theory of constraints and limits in your system. Kan means card, Ban means board. And if you think about manufacturing, the way it was applied in Toyota is that they would have cards to signal events. So if you were putting car doors on a car and you had a stack of 20 doors, when it got down to about 5 doors left, there'd be a physical card taped to that door. And that door would say, hey, it's time to make more doors. And you'd go and hand it to the person who makes doors and tell them to make it. So the entire system was pull-based. If they're selling cars at one end of the line, then that would signal that we need to start assembling more cars. And if they were selling cars with bad doors, we don't want to build up a ton of inventory like these physical doors if the design of the door is wrong. So in software, the parallel is that physical inventory, those are requirements for us. So doors are story cards. We don't want to build up a ton of requirements if we aren't shipping business value. Kanban really has 3 explicit rules. One is make your work visible. So make it a token or make it a card. So create all your story cards, create all your work products, put it visually up on a wall. Then kind of measure out and flow out what are your system and what states are all these different cards in. The next rule to Kanban after you make it visible is to start applying limits. So what you want to do is if you have five developers or 10 developers pairing, you set a limit of 5 for the development state, and you make people stick to that state. So they can't, if they're working and they need to pass something over to test, and test is already backed up and they've already at their capacity, you actually stop coding, because we don't want to build up more code that doesn't have a fast feedback cycle. So the times in between the active states are the wait states, and we want to keep those very small. We know that if you find a defect, and I just coded something yesterday, it's going to be cheaper and easier for me to fix it. If you find a defect and I coded it last week, it's going to be much more costly. So after you make your work visible, start applying limits, right? And then applying this pool-based thinking. So that's the third rule. So the third rule is if work is filled up, don't keep piling on more work. Wait until work downstream like QA or getting to production happens before you start coding and creating more requirements. So the entire system should pull out to production from the beginning of the value stream. So Kanban is a practice we're very passionate about here at LeanDog. And it's something you should explore if you're doing Scrum. If you're only doing Kanban, you should explore Scrum and compare and contrast and choose what works best for your organization.